started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody. This is Nick from the Phoenix Press, and welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy. We've got a good episode here for you guys, so let's just bring them all in, shall we? I don't care. Joining us is frequent guest Nix. How you doing?
Pretty good.
How's your week been?
Well, I started it off by saying goodbye to my nieces, and then I just got my butt kicked by a frostleok, so it's about 50-50 chance of being good.
Yeah, I do like those odds. I do like them. I'm trying to stall time until I can. I have so many clips here. Let's see here. All right, and then next up we have
Master Chief. You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Hashtag release the Schumacher cut.
Oh yes, we'll be getting into that. And lastly, I think this is appropriate.
The game has changed, son of Flynn.
Oh, nice.
So, joining us for the first time on the Frenzy is Chris Fisk from Infantile Comics. So, Chris, could you introduce yourself to all these fine folks and tell them who you are and just how cool you are?
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm Chris Fisk. I'm the writer, creator, additional art, whatever, for Infantile Chronicles. It's a fantasy comic book series. We funded back in 2020, and we're going to have book 2 campaign starting up soon. Book 1 is now available on Amazon. And dude, man, this is going to be a fun year.
That is badass. If you have any links you want me to share, please drop in the private chat. I'll be more than happy to put on the links below. Sweet. So, how's everyone doing today? Like, what you guys been up to?
Let's see. Well, I've been working in the morning because I work from about 7 to 3 now, which is fun because I can be on this stream again. And I am currently anticipating seeing The Flash.
Nice. Yep, we have our disagreements about that one, but we're just going to keep it civil. Oh, you should have seen me and Jared were kind of going into it before you guys dropped in. It was polite, but we were both pretty strong. We have a new person. Well, not new person, but we have an old friend kind of joining it. So let me just grab their intro. Nix, how have you been doing? I need you to show some time.
Oh, it's pretty much been the same old for me, but I did get back into playing Tears of the Kingdom again, so I've been progressing slowly through it.
Nice. So, all right. So here we got a fifth person joining the fray.
The sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
What is up, Forrester?
Hey, what's going on?
That intro is awesome.
That's the first time you've seen it, Jared?
No, it's so funny.
I love it. I love it. So how you been doing, Forrester?
I'm all right. Just busy in real life doing some work on the farm.
Oh, farm boy. All right, Mr. Kent.
Yeah, not usually. It's I'm helping somebody out. I usually live in a city, so.
How slick.
So, huh?
I said how slick.
Oh yeah.
Yes, my bad attempted jokes are they're bad. So, all right. Before we go into the main topic, I just kind of wanted to give a quick update on my comics here. Let me log out. So, campaign has been funded for some time. Thank you everyone for that. and I am happy to announce that the book is done. The
Yes.
art is done. The letters are done. We're prepping the files for printing right now, and we're waiting for Indiegogo to release the funds. Campaign ended on the 5th, so it's like 15 business days, so we're still well within the window. So, whatever, no big deal. And yeah, so I'm hoping to go into print here in the next week or two, and then that takes 2 weeks, and then Critical Blast is handling the thing. So people should be getting their books July, August at the latest. That's the current timeline for stuff. So, all right.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I guess we must go into a different topic. I didn't have it as a drop, so I gotta pull this up. I gotta see it. So there's something really interesting that we're talking about. All right, there we go. Okay.
I must break you.
All right.
You need that as an actual drop, dude.
I do. I honestly, I should have downloaded that and dropped it, but I just couldn't, so I had to
Actually, what you could also use is the Dark Knight Rises Bane, where he goes, "But first we break your spirit, then we break your body."
That also works.
Oh, you.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the table and talk about how comics broke you. We're mainly talking about comic books as in making comics, but in Nick's case, she's so adorable. She wants to talk about a different kind of comics breaking you. So I allowed the exception. So Nick, go first.
So, I think the only time I've ever actually been broken by a comic would have been, and we talked about this a little bit before, Avengers number 200. I think that's like the first time a comic's been so bad that I was like, no, I can't.
For the uninitiated, what happens in Avengers 200?
Oh no.
What doesn't?
So,
Nick, you want me to do it for you so you don't have to suffer through it? I'll take the suffering.
you can go into
Jared is a gentleman. He'll jump on the hand grenade.
All right.
You can go into detail, but I want to kind of give a quick rundown. So basically, Miss Marvel gives birth to her kind of, sort of, not boyfriend, but like...
What? Lover. You could say lover.
Lover. I mean, we really want to call it that.
Right. They like to engage in aggressive hand-holding.
The idea, nice. The idea of the story was he had to get out of this paradise dimension. The only way he could get out was by being born. So he kidnapped Miss Marvel we're talking about Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel, thank God. And so he kidnapped her.
Not that makes it any better.
Yeah, he kidnapped her, hypnotized her into falling in love with him, then slept with her. Then she gave birth to him in the real world. And the funny part is that none of the Avengers thought that was weird.
They were all of them were like super excited, like, oh, when's the baby? Oh, I want to be. This is like, oh, can I be his teddy bear? I was like,
upon hearing that, this is my reaction.
What have you done?
No, Nick, you know what you need? You need that clip from Total Recall, the Arnold movie, where he's in the Martian atmosphere and his eyes are like exploding.
Oh my God. Also,
I can't believe you don't have that.
Also, this is also my reaction.
What?
Like, people like to talk about modern comics and what they're doing wrong, but like, we're talking about a book that had fairly competent writers and artists. And this was back basically in its heyday, and they're still making these weird, creepy.
So Nick,
and like,
would you say that this is your review of Avengers 200?
Crap, mega crap.
Oh, that doesn't even begin to cover it. It's like, people, like I said, people talk about how bad modern comics are, and one more day. You have not experienced pain until you've read Avengers 200.
Okay,
Since
Jared.
past.
Sorry. I had to remove Jared because of the ungodly amount of cringe he induced in the stream. Jared, you're making my ass cancer grow just by saying that. Stop it.
Oh, Jesus.
We're talking about bad comics. I'm just saying.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
but,
you
like,
don't need to
imagine the
aggravate
bitch
my
meeting.
ass cancer. Dude, stop it.
No, dude, you
I
imagine
will
a pitch
say-
meeting for that though. Like you're in a boardroom, you're like, okay, I got it. Best idea. We've got a storyline out for incest baby. Like that's awesome.
I wonder how the artist felt like, I have to draw Norman Osborn's whole face.
Yeah. By the way, there is speaking of boardroom meetings, this was a proposal. So back in the day, they wanted to give Wonder Woman a dark and gritty story, like Superman had the death of Superman, Batman had the Dark Knight Returns. So of course, being a member of the Trinity, they wanted to give one for Wonder Woman. So Mark Millar, he said, and Nick knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to be delicate here and use a different word for what he proposed, but it became known as the violation of Wonder Woman.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room...
I'm just saying, it's not anything that I want. I will be clear on that. And by the way, it was a joke, but DC actually had art drawn up, like thumbnails of that.
Oh.
You kicked the wrong person out, I think, Nick.
No,
Forster's like, I'm out of here, man.
Oh, what have you?
This stream broke him.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Moon Man, how you doing? We're just talking about some really bad comics that broke us. You know, so I guess I'm going to declare the stream both making comics and just comics themselves that have broke you, just to kind of cover all the bases. So, Nix, thank you for your thing. Infantile. You want to say some more stuff?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the only positive to Avengers 200 is that another comic afterwards did touch on it, where Miss Marvel came back and she's like, what the hell were all of you thinking?
It was in a Chris Clem on X-Men. Because after this, she's so traumatized, she goes and stays at the X-Mansion. She's by the pool lounging in a bikini, and then she goes, what the hell was wrong with you people?
I love those fourth wall breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Nix, you got that all out of your system? We good, Nix?
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, all right, it's time to do some trauma dumping. Spill.
Well, yeah, I find the whole concept of the hashtag really weird because it's like, what's the objective of Comics Broke Me? Because are you going to try to guilt people into buying your shit? Because that doesn't work. Like, you might get one or two of them, like some couple of bleeding hearts for like your first book, but you're not going to get a continued patronage off of people that just feel bad for you. So the whole, like, you know, oh, it hurts. Dude, you're a business. Like, even if your business is failing and you are going underwater and losing your house, you do not publicly announce to people, oh my God, it's awful. My whole company blew up in my face. Oh God, you know, like nobody wants to hear that shit.
Oh
like,
my God, when he said that, you know that guy from Independence Day? I gotta call my lawyer.
Yeah.
Like I was literally imagining that guy as you're saying that.
Yeah, well, it's just like
forget my lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go smoke some more cigarettes. No, it just like I understand, dude. Shit, things suck. Like,
yeah,
really. Like, I've worked in creative industry. I was a video game designer for 10 years. Okay, my average employment rate was like measured in months. Okay, they shipped me all around the world. I was in Japan, Australia, various cities across California. I had to go where the work was, and they just treated you like shit. You know, and finally I woke up and said, you know what? Maybe my dream career isn't worth my health.
Wait, are you saying you're woke?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah, girl.
You woke up.
Hell yeah. My hair suddenly went pink as you said that.
Yeah, my pronouns are his and majesty.
My pronouns are fuck and you.
Yeah. You gotta respect him, girl. But
Respect my
no,
authority, god damn it. If I kick your ass and make you a woman.
But
Yeah.
but like just to add to the like, yeah, it does suck, dude. Like I have watched very talented people get treated like shit, like amazing artists. Like I've reached out to them and got commissions from them and stuff just to keep them afloat, you know. And you know, LinkedIn, dude, has been like a tragedy list where you're watching people who, you know, I've been ever since I left that industry because you know I got woke. No, I left entertainment and went into something a little more stable, and everything has been like 1,000 times better, including my income, my outlook on my career prospects, everything. And I look over at my friends that I made that were in this industry, and like in the span that I've been employed now for about 10 years at my current company, I've watched my friends in this industry move to Europe, move to some other country or whatever, all across, like multiple times, multiple states, like more than an army brat. Like I don't know how you could have a family in creative industries, but like they've been constantly laid off all the time. And it's like, yeah, that will break you. Get out of that industry, dude. Like do what I do. Like my comic book series, I'm only doing it because I'm in a financial place where I can do it. Like I have a day job. Like this is something that I'm doing as a passion project. And if people like it, then it'll take off.
Fun fact about me. Before I got into comics, I was actually looking to go into the game design field. Like I was actually going to college for it and everything. Like I did a whole community college stint, and I was actually accepted in one of my local college's game design programs.
Oh hell yeah!
And I was gonna be an environmental artist. That's kind of what I was kind of leaning towards, because like I like doing like the CG work, like the 3D modeling. You know, I kind of enjoyed it. You know, but like the problem I had is by the way, this is like probably 2015 or something when I was like going to go to my local college, and it was bad. I remember I was going to I was accepted. I was going to orientation, and literally one of the requirements for this college was you had to take a diversity course.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name the college because
Tell us what colleges it's not.
Yeah.
You know,
it's in every college now.
It's one of the major Michigan colleges. It's not the big two, but
it's not the blue and yellow.
No, it's
green and white. Ooh. All
right, you got me. It was Eastern Michigan University.
I love how we narrowed that down real fast. He's like, I don't want to tell you. Let's guess the colors.
I just wasn't expecting Infantile to know the colors of all the major colleges.
That color, that pause. You know, yeah. Nick was like, oh no.
Yeah, it was Eastern. I live like 10 minutes away from Eastern.
Oh, nice.
And I got accepted in there. I have an associate's degree, by the way. And fat lot, that's done for me. But so one of the requirements was a diversity course, and there was this black lady who was helping with the schedule, and I just said to her I think I'm gonna hold off on that one for later. It just yeah, Eastern is a pretty solid school. It's got a great teaching program from what I hear. I've toured the campus. It's really nice. I'm in that area a lot. Eastern is a really nice college. And I was going to go into their simulation, animation, and gaming program for those in the know. Anyway, so I was talking to this lady, and I just said, hey, I think I'll hold it off till later. A perfectly innocuous statement. And she was like, okay. You know, kind of snarky, I'm being polite, but I'm being rude to you kind of tone.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Not that stereotypical, but
well, this stream is going to be taken down real quick.
Rational here. I'm trying to at least be somewhat okay here. But yeah, and so I ended up not going. It kind of was an issue with the finance department and scheduling, some bullshit. You know, I was fuck it. And after that, I kind of fell into game design, not game design, but the comic stuff. But I had heard all these stories about comic book, video game people being overworked. The closest I got to the industry is I was part of a homebrew Dreamcast project.
Oh, sweet.
For those in the Dreamcast scene, I was part of Hypertension, Harmony, Despair. I was part of that team. So if you're familiar with the Dreamcast homebrew scene, you probably recognize that game name. It's a game that will more than likely never come out. I have insider information. I'm not going to divulge it publicly, but I was working with some really talented people. You know, I'm going to kind of go off there because technically I'm under an NDA, but you know, but yeah, that was the closest I got. But yeah, like I kind of just started doing comics, and through some spits and spurts, I kind of found my niche, and that's I haven't done my comic book story yet. I want others to tell theirs, but you're telling your game design story. I want to tell this is the story of how game design broke.
Yeah, well, it's just the creative, like it's a real tragedy because it's kind of like the flame for moths. Like there's a lot of creative people that get drawn into these industries, and the industries are designed.
They bank on it.
Yeah. Well, it's designed to chew up naive 20-somethings and shit out a bunch of 30, 40 unemployable people or just jaded, like,
or 30, 40 shills, like people who they want to grind up your passion, grind up any free will. And if you are still part of the industry by 30 or 40, you are 100% compliant with whatever they tell you.
Oh God, yeah, dude, it was like a cult of personality. Like, I was completely unprepared for the California culture of office politics. Yeah, it got to the point like I thought it was weird where I was like, I get along fine with like my Japanese coworkers, I get along fine with my New England coworkers, but like when you're in the trenches and you can't rely on the guys next to you, and it sucks because I got to say that there were some amazing people I worked with. Like I'd take a bullet for a lot of them, but like
even to this day, probably.
Yeah. These were really good people, but that's what happens when trauma or like horrible conditions set in. Is you start to kind of trim the chaff, and you start getting to who the quality people are because they're the ones rolling up their sleeves, while the rest of them are taking paternity leave for 2 months after giving you a 9-month crunch time of 90-hour work weeks.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, we can't give you bonuses this week. But it's been our most profitable year ever. Hey, check out this brand new Porsche I bought.
Yeah, they did that to. So I had a lot of coworkers from Blizzard, and
I'm sorry.
A very common story is they report record numbers for their publisher. Like, EA just made X number or whatever, or Activision Blizzard made X number, and then all of a sudden there's like 200 plus layoffs, and you're like,
how do you think they made that much money?
Yeah, exactly, and it's like. You look over at like Nintendo or whatever, and when Nintendo made bad, really shitty business decisions, they don't fire the people that did the job. They fire the people who made the decisions, which is the way it should be.
It's because Japanese has a very different type of culture. Like, I'm not saying Japanese work culture is superior, but it definitely has its positives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like you don't get fired. Basically, in Japan, you just get demoted until you're finally like, okay, I got to get out of here.
Like, remember what happened to Iga? Like, they didn't fire him; they just transferred him to do like dating sims until he quit.
Poor guy.
That's a hell of a transition right there.
Yeah.
Going from making like some of the most beloved games ever. So Iga's a Castlevania guy. Like, he developed. Yep. He was he wasn't the lead in Symphony of the Night, but he was like very involved with it. He did all the GBA, DS, and DS games basically.
Wow. Yeah, well, it just, I think it was it, God, I can't remember, Sawada or whatever, the head
Iwata?
of Nintendo. Yeah, Iwata, that's what it was.
Satoru Iwata, yeah.
Yeah, so before
God
he died, well, his marketing team completely dropped the ball on the Wii U. Like,
oh dear God,
there was so much brand confusion. People are like, is this like an addition? Is this like an expensive peripheral for my Wii?
Yeah.
Like, so instead of going like, okay, I'm going to fire all the people, that were in the production plant or the people on the floor levels, he ended up taking like, I think it was like a 60 to 70% pay cut just so that those people could keep.
The Wii U, actually, if you just engage with it on its own terms, it's honestly a pretty solid system.
Oh, dude, I love my Wii U. I like when the Switch came out and they started porting all of these like Wii U games, I was ecstatic because it's like nobody bought the Wii U, but they had some bangers of
I'm
games.
still
on
waiting
that
on them to port Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Oh, they should. What
Yes!
happened to the 30th reunion, dude? Like Zelda.
Oh, they dropped the ball in the Zelda 30th reunion. Like Mario got a pretty good reunion. I thought they were gonna do like a Zelda 3D collection, have like Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, all those. But we got like Skyward Sword and a Game and Watch, which I mean, sure, Skyward Sword, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the weird thing is like I was never really a Zelda fan. I know it's odd because like my first console was basically the Atari 2600 or a cheap knockoff of it. So I've been playing games since the beginning, and I never I had a Sega because my family were weird, like we're British, so we had like the Sega Master System instead of the NES, and I missed out on a lot of the classics.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yes. Sorry, I ran
audio issues right now. So someone just kind of talk while I get this working.
Ohayou gozaimasu, konbanwa, o genki desu ka?
Nick makes horrible puns.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us. Yeah. Should I just ramble? Because, I can do that.
Nick, are you still alive?
Yeah.
Turn on your camera and blink once.
We're gonna see like the what is it, the kidnap note or like the ransom note appear on his camera.
Yeah, exactly.
An empty chair.
That'll be his avatar.
He disparaged Avengers 200 and the whole incest baby storyline. He's like, Marvel's like, nope, take him out. Like,
I'm really surprised. I guarantee you. I love how the stream went from talking about Avengers 200 to talking about how the comic industry sucks. He's currently tied up right now. Not attached. He's got like duct tape on his mouth.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they did to Superman.
Yes. Whoa, yes. What actually happened was that was actually a simulation by the Matrix that we were just talking to for like the first half hour of the stream. And the real Nick is still connected to the Matrix.
It's ChatGPT.
Yes.
His life facsimile or whatever, like on Tony Stark.
Yeah. His real model decoy or something like that. Yeah. No, his life model decoy. No, we'll find out that was actually the scroll the entire time.
Yeah. The Nick scroll.
Nick scroll.
What the?
Hey, welcome back.
I'm really sorry, guys. I got a battery low notification on my Bluetooth headphones. But so like I can plug those like I have like an okay, let me just go on camera. Wrong button. Wrong button. So, like, they have these are kind of the ones that have like an aux input. So I was plugging in like it's like I couldn't hear you guys. So it's like.
But Nick, are you or are you not a scroll?
Yeah. Secret invasion, baby.
No comment.
That's everything. Oh no.
No comment.
That's exactly what a scroll would say.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever. So, what did I miss? What kind of cool talk did I miss?
Oh, I think I was talking about how I wasn't much of a fan of Zelda back in the day because I had this because my family was weird and British, so we had the Sega Master System and then went to the Mega Drive and stuff. But like, I ended up retro revisiting them with emulators and things. But my first true I had Twilight Princess and I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't really like Skyward Sword. I loved Wind Waker. But for me, when Breath of the Wild came out, like as a game designer, dude, like my head exploded. I had like that Hitchcock camera moment where I was like, this is the greatest game I've ever played. Like sure, there were like little things in there, like the weapon degradation that was really kind of weird. But like, I freaking loved that game. And right now, yeah, I'm Tears of the Kingdom's like digital crack for me. I had to put it down for a bit.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm one of those people where I actually like weapon degradation.
Yeah, I do too.
It forces you to use other weapons. Like, if it wasn't for weapon degradation, you just use a Master Sword all the time. But like, weapon degradation forces you to constantly keep switching weapons, and it adds a whole nother gameplay element to it.
Well, yeah, it teaches you not to just run in with sword swinging. But
my problem is sentimental attachment. I don't want to destroy certain weapons that mean something to me. So I'll end up with only 2 actual slots.
Well, I would actually, if I had my druthers and I could, because I think I have the source. Well, no, I don't. If Nintendo's listening, no, I don't. Simu emulation doesn't exist. But
your uncle who works in emulation has it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Uncle Dave. But
Uncle Dave.
But my thing would be is if I had the ability to, because your weapons are never gone, they're never truly gone. The blood moon brings them back. So if you ever lose something, just go back to where you found it after the blood moon, and it's back there. But my thing would be is that get rid of the abstract degradation. Give me a health bar, or give me like a meter or something that shows how close it is and where it is in its repair state. And then allow me to recycle my rupee resource to go to like Hatino Village or Kakariko Village or whatever and pay somebody to repair it. So therefore, we still force you.
Yes.
I would say my biggest gripe with it was storage. Like there really is. Like, I'm sure you can upgrade your inventory, but like, there's really not much of a storage. Like, for example, sure you can display weapons in your house, and that was cool. I don't know if they expand upon the Tears of the Kingdom, but like, there needs to be more storage. Like, kind of keeping like the weapons that you want to keep, because like what if you just like have your like like certain weapons where it's like, okay, this is a really good weapon, but I can't use it right now. But my slot is full, so I'm gonna have to abandon it.
Yep. Well, the thing that Tears of the Kingdom does, in my opinion, which is a step down from what Breath of the Wild did, is it turns every combat encounter into basically you have to become an accountant, and you have to weigh like an actuary. You're weighing your risk assessment and your resource investment in every combat, because unlike in Breath of the Wild, you don't have an infinite damage output. So I've run into scenarios where I fought things and I literally threw every weapon I had at it, hit the thing with everything I had, broke every sword, whatever I had equipped, threw every arrow, whatever. I ended up having to defeat the thing by throwing objects that I had in my inventory at it, like or whatever. And that's the only way. It was so frustrating because I wasted all of my damage output, and it was on a stupid, like, there's these things, these rock beings or whatever, and they can.
The Taluses?
Yeah, Talus. They have Talus battle platforms or whatever, where the little bokoblins get on top of it, and it becomes like a.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah,
the thing is, you have that in Breath of the Wild as well, where certain enemies can only be feeding with certain way. The Taluses, you have to use like a hammer, because if you use like a hammer or some other type of like really blunt weapon, they
you're gonna break it. Yeah. Oh.
All right, Chris, answer that. Well, Forrest.
That wasn't me.
Sorry, that was my ringtone. Sorry, that was Lost in Space theme is my ringtone. I gotta go.
Space. All right, we'll catch you on the side. Hope we can come back.
Yep, thanks. Bye.
So with Breath of the Wild, you have bombs. You have unlimited bombs, and you can just throw them when you run out of your inventory items or your weapons. You just throw them out, and it's. A lot of times I'll actually find myself bowling for dollars, where you can have your spherical your spherical bombs, and I just roll them down a hill and blow stuff up. And I was like, woohoo, free money, and you can mine with it and everything. In Tears of the Kingdom, not only can you no longer have those unlimited bombs, but all of your weapons are in crap condition because there's this like thing that like supposedly made all the weapons weak. So now you have to play Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts and start merging weapons into these like really dumb looking like lollipop shapes and stuff to get like any level of like durability. And even then they're kind of like they break more often than they did in Breath of the Wild. And it infuriates me because it's like you took one of the coolest mechanics in Breath of the Wild and actually took a step back.
Yeah, like I don't get that. Like, why would you take the one mechanic that literally everyone complained about and make it worse?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then like not only that, but like I love their fusion concept. I hate their fusion execution. So they have a new ability like weapon fusion or shield fusion, where like you just get a random item and you can fuse it to your shield or fuse it to your weapon or whatever. The problem though is the weapon looks stupid. Like you have like a boulder sticking on the end of a sword and it looks like a lollipop. Like my thing would have been, why not just have like a forge system where you basically have the way that your cooking system works would have been absolutely brilliant for your weapons.
I mean, honestly, take it a step further, like turn it into like a rhythm mini game kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys have ever played Fantasy Life, but that's what they did with their crafting. By the way, Fantasy Life is getting a sequel, and I am there for it. Like,
yes.
Like Fantasy, like I bought Fantasy Life day one. I still have my original copy. I fucking love that game, and it's getting a sequel. And I never thought we'd get a sequel to that game. It's like I am so happy.
I'm glad more people know about it, dude. I thought that was like a sleeper hit, like the that was a 3DS game, right?
Yeah, it was a 3DS game. I actually have my copy over there, but like, it's so good. It's like everything I ever wanted in a game. It's just so well designed. It's got this cute aesthetic, and the sequel looks like they're kind of like it's basically Fantasy Life with elements of Animal Crossing: New Horizon, which I'm okay with. Like it's, like I'm okay with that. You're but yeah.
Well, the Breath of the Wild has one of the best cooking systems I've ever seen in a game.
Oh dear God, yes.
It's so rewarding, except for when you make like that weird sludge, the pixelated greenish whatever goop.
It's really hard. It's actually really hard to do that though, by the way.
Yeah. But like I would have loved to have seen like instead of like a cooking pot, you could do the same thing with a smithy's plinth or a smithy's forge.
I gotta be honest with you. Like the thing that's kind of turned me off of Tears of the Kingdom is the forging system. Like, especially when like you're seeing all these people on like Twitter, Instagram, forging these like honestly amazing contraptions, and just knowing that like you would never, like you do not have the ability to forge something even like a tenth of that. So like when I'm just gonna be going through the game having like a mixture of like FOMO, jealousy, resentment, be like, why can't I make something cool? Like it's just like me playing Minecraft. It's like I see all these cool contraptions, and I'm like, I can make a cube. Like interiors, I can kind of do okay. Like I can make interiors in Minecraft fine, but all my stuff just looks like ugly cubes, and like I can kind of make a cabin, but like.
Well, that's my biggest gripe with Tears of the Kingdom, other than the lack of unlimited damage output, is the they want you to like they basically turned Breath of the Wild into Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. And they're like, make all this weird erector set crap and just throw it out there. And it's like, here I am, dummy me, trying to fight a Gleeok the way you're supposed to fight it, my opinion, because it's like, here's the tools you're given. And the thing wipes the floor with me. It's this big 3-headed dragon. It flies up in the air and just nukes you from orbit. Only way to be safe. Comes down and kills you, whatever. So unbeknownst to me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it stupid. I did the Batman thing. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. So I made a robot death beam thing out of all my construction things, and I one-shotted it. It like was in 3 seconds and it died. And I'm like, this is what they want me to play with their game? Yeah, I was like, this is stupid. Like, I'm done.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, the fire Gleeok on the bridge, the Hylian bridge.
Yes, I had so much fucking trouble with that too.
Yeah, I all I did was I just built there's a thing called like a Zonai thing called like Monster Face, and then the laser beam emitters, and the just a couple of rockets thrown at him, and I just hid behind a construct wall.
So Chris, so what you're saying is
weapons are part of my religion.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting to drop that one for so long. I don't get to drop that one often, and Chris just gave me the opening. So
excellent.
I detailed a little bit of my fight with the flame Gleeok on Twitter, but to summarize, fucker killed me maybe 17 times, just by 3 or 4 times pushed me off the bridge, and there's no way to get back up without warping, so then you have to go and reset the fight with his health completely back at the beginning. It took me forever.
Oh, sorry.
All my hard work was for nothing.
So Nick's be like,
oh, dude, I've invented swears playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Son of a cock nugget.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like seriously, like that game trolls you. I've been one shot. Wait until so there's a new enemy called the gloom hands, and that's the stuff in Nightmare.
Oh, fucking hate those.
I flew across the map and it chased me. I was on the paraglider going, I'm not.
Enemies in Tears of the Kingdom be like,
you didn't see that coming?
No, dude. So it's this big puddle. It's this big, like 30-foot by 30-foot puddle of like weird glowy purple ooze, and it's got these like gnashing hands that come out of it. These big, like 9-foot long arms that have eyeballs in the palms of their hands, and it just chases after you. It's faster than you can run. It's faster than your horse.
So you're saying,
and if it grabs you,
is back.
Yeah, and I was.
And if it grabs you, it takes your health down like so quick. But then for certain gloom hand puddles, if you kill the gloom hands, they'll bring out an even worse enemy, in my opinion.
Sounds like it gets awfully handsy with you.
No touch. But
no touchy.
Well, the thing that I did was I'm paragliding, and this thing comes up out of a mountainside and starts chasing me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna I'm looking at I have 3 wheels of stamina, so I'm like, okay, I'm sitting pretty. I can just use my little blow. Like you get like this little ghost that can like blow you or like laterally forward. So I'm like constantly trying to outrun this thing. It's chased me all across the Hylian fields into like the east coast of the country, and I'm like eating food so I can stay in the air. And this thing's like, time's on my side, bitch. And finally, when I landed, it killed me. And the thing does damage that can't be healed. Yeah.
Well, it can be. It's just not easily.
Yeah. Well, it does something called gloom damage, where you have to you get these things Sundelions to like if you don't have those, then you no matter what you eat for food, your health ain't coming back.
What the cinnamon toast shit is this crap?
Yeah, it's
you also have...
Yeah, like that's a troll, man. I'm like, you basically said, yeah, you're gonna die, and there's nothing you can do about it. If I wanted that, I'd stay in reality.
Yeah. Have you seen the King Gliok yet?
That hit.
No, there's a King Gliok?
Yes, it uses all 3 of the Gliok elements in one dragon. There's only one, thank God, but I had to go find it for a mission and get a picture of it.
Oh my God!
And now
barely escaped with my life.
So the King Gliaks are like,
this is just what they want. You're playing their game.
Then I'll play dirty.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah, basically. That's the biggest bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought the Lionels were hard.
Oh, dude, the Lionels, yeah. Especially with weapon degradation. Nothing like trying to parry a charging Lionel with their shield, and then the shield explodes, and it goes, oh, yeah, that didn't count as a parry. It just flings you like a baseball across the field.
One hit KO.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just love the way he says, yeah.
Wait, and then the Lionels every time they charge you, they're like,
I have you now.
Yeah, definitely. They're like, this one's gonna die.
Well, that's like any drone in Arkham Knight. Every time I'm just driving around the frickin' Batmobile, all of a sudden I'll take like 10 tank rounds at me.
And whenever the glooms, whenever they see Link, they're like,
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
The music makes it so much better.
It's just like, and then the King Gliaks are like,
no power in the verse can stop me.
Yeah. I don't know how you're supposed to fight a mixed elemental dragon.
Well, that's just prime.
I'm sorry, I'm having so much fun right now.
They really upped their game for the enemies of Tears of the Kingdom, and I kind of wish they hadn't.
I know. I don't mind a fair fight, but there were times, especially when you're like making contraptions and it starts doing weird shit you didn't anticipate. So
of course!
You spend all these resources to get your stupid flying wing thing, and also it goes, yeah, we're not going in that direction. Yeet! And you go right off a cliff to your death.
Yeah.
No shit.
How many of those... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you're saying, Chris?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, how many of those Koroks did you unwittingly murder trying to put them on contraptions where you sent them to their doom?
Oh, God, it only happened once, and it was the worst feeling of my life.
Nice.
Oh, my God!
I'm sorry. My timing was so good on that one.
God, yeah.
My timing was so good.
Nice.
Oh
God.
So Jared, so Jared, you've been pretty quiet. Tell us, how have comics broke you?
Well, okay, where to begin?
From the beginning, maybe?
Well, yeah. Jeez. So, where's that Arnold clip now? But anyway, so the thing about...
No shit.
Thank you. The thing about it is, all right, in terms of creating comics, I'm just starting my first book, so it's not like I'm at that point yet. But again,
You're not on a level, bro.
I have a day job too, so it's not like I'm depending on this for all my income. So there is that. But in terms of comics breaking me, let's see what comics broke me. Well, I mentioned most of them in the beginning of the stream, but there is the one that they did recently where they had Superman get kidnapped by communists, put in prison, exposed to red solar radiation, and then by implication, violated in a Russian prison.
Let's just say the commies really stuck it to Superman.
That's good. But yeah, so that was the first one. Then you have, I've mentioned Sins Past, I mentioned the other ones. There's then you mentioned, and then in terms of like and then it really broke me recently is seeing what Marvel's been doing to the Punisher lately. That's been really boiling my blood, brother.
I'm sorry, but if anyone is trying to deny that like comics are going great and like these people aren't like just crying man babies, just give them that comic and tell them that comic wasn't made with malice.
Well, here's the thing about it too. Here was my reaction, and actually was shared by my good friend Wes from Thinking Critical, is that, okay, here's the problem with all these people saying comics broke me. It's not the thing about it is that it's not like they were forced into this life. It's not like they were like bounty hunters forced to be in a life of moral ambiguity. It's like they chose to only have this as their main source of income, and they're complaining that they're having trouble in a already fledgling industry. But my favorite, and Nick has brought this up on my show plenty of times, there was this one dude that says, my book won an Eisner and I'm having trouble getting work, but it's the most niche book possible about, like, I think it's like a French painter or something like that. But, and Ethan...
Remember I brought this up on last night's stream, Chris?
Yeah. Ethan Van Sciver made an excellent point about it. He said, ultimately, here's the thing. Superhero stuff is where it's at if you're publishing, if you want to do comics, period. But unless you're like writing Batman or like drawing Batman, you can't expect to make enough cash in order to like subsist on just comics.
Like, yeah, you gotta actually have a really big like name. Like, you gotta actually be at least at least mid-sized popularity in order to kind of make a living off this stuff. You got to be like making stuff that like people are really interested in.
But not only that, I also saw there were a few mainstream people that work at Marvel and DC that were putting in their words on it, like Heather Ontos. I know here comes a why'd you say that name, but it's like you have fuck off, Rod. Thank you. I'm like
close enough.
You have created, these are the same people that have told the audience, if you don't like what we're doing, don't buy our books.
Oh, God.
And the regular...
If you don't, I need that as a drop.
Yes, you do. And the regular comic book audience was like, okay. Because here's the really stupid thing. Let's examine this. All right. So in the height of the MCU's popularity, you would think that Marvel would be doing well comic-wise, right? This was when they did the tremendous mistake that was all new, all different Marvel, when they decided to replace their characters that had movies.
What, you don't like the totally awesome Hulk?
No, I don't. And then DC finally has gotten their act together and is highlighting the comics at the end of all their YouTube trailers, which I'm like, you should have been doing this from the beginning.
It's not like we haven't been telling them to do that for 10 years.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. If you give it, here's the thing. Look at Eric July and the Ripperverse. He just hit $1 million again.
Look at Common America. I mean, even EVS's stuff. Like, Like all these people, they make shit that people want.
EVS makes 6 figures per book, and don't tell me that here's the thing. That tells me that it's because of the mainstream of what these people are doing, because all EVS and Eric July and Common America, all these people are doing is examining what the market wants and giving them what they want, whereas the mainstream companies are giving them what they want and it's not working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Bolshevik marketing.
Yes, exactly. No, it's another type of bull marketing, and the second one ends in an S. But I'm just going to give you that one right there.
Of course.
That's not even marketing, because marketing implies that you look for what the audience wants and then give it to them. That is mirror dimension marketing for your Star Trek fans.
Corporations die when they decide they know what is best for the consumer. Corporations thrive when they give consumers what they want. Now, sure, is there an element of people don't know what they want till you give it to them? Sure, sometimes that works. Apple has thrived off of that concept for years. But the thing is, they don't have Steve Jobs to distort reality and pitch it to them, and that's why they've been failing.
Mm-hmm.
It just is further really just astounds me. And it's not like, and here's the thing, it's like they don't even learn from past mistakes, because it's like recently, like a couple of years ago, DC decided, let's replace all of our characters. Let's basically do all new, all different, but for DC characters. And they didn't remember that whole initiative failed miserably. And they're like, it failed? No, it'll work with us. No, it won't.
But there's diversity. There's an ESG score.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They act like these. I always say the biggest lie in modern comics is when they say comics have never been diverse and now we're getting all this diversity. I'm like, Midnighter, Apollo, John Stewart, Green Lantern, all these characters always existed.
North Star came out as gay in 1990.
Yeah, work with what you have, and trust me, you will see an explosion of diversity, but of characters that the audience cares about.
Black Panther dates back to the late 60s. Falcon came out in the 70s. Like
wait,
Luke Cage
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Like there have been strong female characters in comics for as long as there have been comics. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Anybody?
Yep.
You know, people like Black Canary.
Yep.
You know, like seriously.
It's just all these people saying that, like, oh, now we have these female characters. My favorite is when a female action movie fails and they go, well, men just don't want female action heroes. And I'm like,
Jared,
I'm laughing at Ridley Scott. Right? I mean,
Jared,
Alien right now.
Don't you know that Sigourney Weaver owes her career to Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, did you remember that?
No, let me do the bit. Please, let me do the bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So, if it wasn't for Jennifer Lawrence starring in The Hunger Games in 2013, Sigourney Weaver would have never been able to play Ellen Ripley in 1979. So we all owe Jennifer Lawrence a big thank you for being the first female action star.
Jennifer Lawrence, thank you for your service. But it's like, I'm just like, stop lying to the audience.
Everywhere.
Stop lying to the audience. You have the tools right here. You just won't use them. And don't my biggest annoyance is when these comic book creatives, some of them are actually decent writers if you put them on the right book, will go, well, we have to blank bend these characters because otherwise the audience won't adopt a new character. And I'm like, so you're telling me you're too lazy to put in the work? Thank you for admitting you doing this out of laziness.
Well, it's even worse than that, dude.
They've only recently started to admit to that. Like they've only recently gone full mask off and admitted that that's the reason.
No, dude, it's even worse than that. Okay, as someone who's a person of color and a minority, like they basically tell us characters that aren't white won't sell. So we have to use brand recognition. You know, you got to take the white man's hand-me-downs. Like,
yeah,
that's exactly what Eric was saying.
Congratulations. In fighting racism, you become even more racist than the racist.
Yeah, that
Exactly.
is the. I've always said this on stream. Their attempts to diversify their character like profile is actually the most racist thing that they have done.
Literally doing a cover where T'Challa is eating from a bucket of KFC chicken.
Yeah!
That is somehow less racist.
Oh, it gets worse.
Than what they
You know what
did with
DC
the
did for
watermelons?
marketing? So what DC did, speaking of complete opposite marketing, a couple of years ago they had Tim Drake come out as bi. Okay, fine, but there are issues with that. But so what they did this thing on the DC's Instagram where they wanted to like promote who in your friend group is this member of the Bat family. So they go like Red Hood's like the loner who sticks to himself, and then for Tim Drake they said the gay kid who's always connected to the internet. That's what he's That's where he's stuck to now.
Yeah, I remember that.
They deleted that tweet. They deleted that Instagram post real quick.
Well, because every other character.
I thought that was a good idea.
You're
basically.
Oh.
Hilarious. Because it was like they go through all. It was like Batgirl, a badass technological genius who fights with surveillance. Blah 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 blah. You know. What is it? Red Hood. You know, the loner with the guns or whatever. And then they go through all. And then finally they get to Tim Drake and they're like, "Yeah, he's the gay guy."
What the heck?
So basically, what you're saying is, for Red Hood,
Weapons are part of my religion.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But that's the thing. That's my point. So for the longest time, Tim Drake had like an identity crisis, and what I mean is that he was kind of the mostly redundant Robin, which he shouldn't be.
He's a hero in crisis.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. But what happened was, in DC's attempt to make him different from the other Robins, they basically went full homophobic on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do that with all, like, you know how we were just saying the thing about the racism? Mm-hmm. Well, they do that with the gay people too. They're like, oh, we got to have a gay character in there. And it's not just like a dude or a chick that just happens to have the switch flipped where they like the same sex. No, we got to have like this flamboyant parody where
the
they
most
pink hair and they're
stereotypical.
Yeah.
It's like what they would call homophobic. It's like, oh, it's got even worse. Remember Snowflake and Save Space?
Yeah, exactly.
The new Warriors? That's what almost broke me because it wasn't released. My problem with that is that the people thought it was being made by far right people trying to make a joke.
Like literally, that's how bad it was. That they thought it was a far right troll.
And the funny part, it's like that thing was the creepiest thing in the world because even the writer was like, well, I thought this team was too cool for me in the 90s. So you're saying they're too cool. I'm going to make them less cool.
Yeah, well,
and then he goes, they're brother and sister, but he has them very intimately hugging. I'm like, I don't want to know how close you are with your sister, dude.
Well, not only that, but like he actually, I don't think
Mark
he was
Millar
brother and sister.
He's writing notes for Ultimates.
Oh, but wait, it gets worse. Remember, Screen Time gets his powers from his grandfather's experimental internet gas. What the?
Oh my God! Did you really just do that? Oh my God!
That was awesome. But I'm like, what? My co-host is an engineer, and I turn to him and I go, the hell is internet gas? And even he's like, I have no idea. But I'm like,
it's Taco Tuesday night.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have like the super emo. Wait.
Source? I made it up.
It gets worse. It gets worse than that. The super emo kid, it happens to be like the almost son of Michael Morbius, the vampire. So they have like the typical female vampire. And then the character who looks slightly overweight is the one that has the magic backpack, and they call it Trailblazer.
Yeah, that's somebody that hasn't hit a treadmill. That's the OB store, the Explorer.
No, but I'm telling you, all of this, they have gotten to the point, and I get the feeling people are starting to detect this, that they're getting to the point where they become, they're essentially stereotyping the very groups they're trying to positively represent.
Yeah.
It's almost like these people aren't actually allies, and they're at best pandering, at worst mocking them.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes. I can tell you right now, as somebody that was in the belly of the beast when I worked in Southern California, the same people that are preaching, don't be a homophobe, they got the rainbow shit everywhere, are the first ones when they get in an argument with somebody that's like gay or trans or whatever. That's the first thing they use as a weapon against them.
Mm-hmm.
Really? And it's like, the right wingers were the ones that are like, oh, you're the homophobes or whatever, and it's like all of our most right wingers I know would never dream of using some of the slurs I've heard during these arguments.
So you're saying like they're so bad it makes using the FAG word look tame by comparison.
Oh yeah, dude, like just total like, and then like not only that, but then the whisper stuff behind the back. So like, you know, the guy leans over to me. He's like, "Yeah, dude, that guy doesn't have to grunt to shit." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, why are you telling me this? Like, oh yeah, dude, he's totally. And it just goes off, and I'm like, "But you got the rainbow ally shit. What are you talking?"
Yeah, the best part is they're literally wearing a rainbow pin as they lean over and say that.
But the hilarious part, have you guys noticed that this year for Pride Month, a lot of companies took the logo off?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the heck?
Budweiser.
I think what they're starting to realize is that
I think
yeah,
it's Budweiser and Target. Like it's scaring them. Like
they're starting to realize that, because here's what these companies don't realize: they're marketing to people that likely will never buy their product. And I'm like, it's like when the NFL had the whole kneeling thing, and I'm like, okay, that's fine if you wanted to protest a political issue, that's fine. But what you don't realize is that your demographic likely doesn't agree with those guys kneeling, and you're like, no, let's highlight that.
See, this is why okay, I'm gonna get political here, and this is gonna be more NFL talk. This is why I can't fucking stand Colin Kaepernick, because he's an okay player at best. Like literally, he's an okay player. Like by NFL standards, he's an okay player. You know, he's like a second string quarterback at best. But like he is such an entitled man baby, and he was raised by rich white parents. And then he has like the gall to go on about like oppression and privilege. Dude, shut the fuck up. You are more privileged than 99% of the people in this world. Sorry.
I also don't think he's black, dude. Look at it, like if he's black, he's like the 10th drop rule, you know, like Talcum X or Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel Dolezal was transracial, didn't you know?
Yeah. like dude,
that's just so funny.
You want to talk about like so there's this thing called colorism in the black community where I guess
our melanin makes us kangs.
Yeah, like the lighter you are, the higher, like I don't even know how it works, but it's this weird like spectrum of complexions or whatever that
it's the Depression Olympics.
That's exactly what it is, dude. And it's so frustrating because it's like I grew up in the 70s, man. You know, I'm old. Like I've been through it all. I've seen the Rodney King riots, you know, all that shit. And like we got over it. And then we put a commie in the White House and suddenly, oh, that could be my son. And then they call the Jewish Hispanic guy that shot him a white supreme, you know, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious?
I mean, you're seeing this shit all the time. Like, they call Ben Shapiro like a Nazi.
Yeah,
it's called Ben Shapiro an anti-Semite, or even something closer to home for us. You know, like Master TDS. He's Jewish, and like he's been called a Yahtzee. He's been called an anti-Semite, and once he points out that he's Jewish, they're like, doesn't matter. You're an anti-Semite. Like it's just like.
Yep. Yeah, they're brainwashed, dude. Sorry.
Put it this way,
go ahead. Sorry.
If Tom Brady had done what Colin Kaepernick did, he would still have a job. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The NFL cares about talent. If he was if the other dude was that talented as a player, he would have been. He would be on a team right now.
Let's be honest here. Look at all the chances Michael Vick got. That dude. Literally, that dude literally had did a dogfighting ring. He literally he got convicted for a dogfighting ring. Went to prison, and he was still able to get onto teams and lead teams. So don't tell me, that dude is blacker than Colin Kaepernick.
I love how he went from Avengers 200 to talking about dogfighting. What the heck?
But Michael Vick is a perfect example.
No, I know.
Michael Vick, you know, obviously he's African American, but he's actually done crimes. Like he's actually done crimes, and the NFL still let him back in because he's actually a talented player.
Mm-hmm.
So color has nothing to do with it.
Oh yeah, the only color that matters in business is green.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're gay, white, straight, bi, robot, pansexual, fork sexual. I don't fucking care. If you want to buy my book, buy my book. I'd be more than happy to sell it to you. Like, okay, like Joseph Mengele could want to buy my book.
Oh, damn! Do you want me to sign it? I'll sign it,
Nick. So basically, Nick. So what you're saying is, you're saying if you don't like my politics, still buy my book.
Yeah, like.
Exactly.
The thing is, like, none of a lot of the indie comics creators aren't pushing politics. They're just like, here's a story. Like,
Ethan
this is
Van
what we grew up
Sciver.
with.
Ethan Van Sciver. I read Cyberfrog. There's barely any political
politics
in there.
What's the politics of Cyberfrog? Like,
no, because they had a scene. They had a scene that takes place in the 90s, and Bill Clinton's on the TV, and he's actually taking responsibility for what happened during that whole controversy. No, but it's so funny. He's like, he's reading it. He's on the TV, and he goes, it's not fair to the constituents, not fair to this. In other words, it was the opposite of what actually happened on TV.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yeah.
So wait, so you're saying the cum on the dress matched my DNA? I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I had sex with her dress.
have you have you felt that silk? Just feeling that silk will give you an orgasm, buddy.
It's like that Lonely Island song, "Jizz in My Pants." Sorry, that was an old
This
obscure.
stream has just degenerated.
Hey, it's not my fault.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm the captain of
Don't
the
worry,
ship,
it's Nick.
so...
It's Nick. He's the captain of this sinking ship.
I regret nothing!
Nick, you are the captain of this Titanic, so enjoy.
I will go
Is that an
down
iceberg in the
into
distance?
ship. I will purge my life and surrender.
But the point is that my other favorite thing that these people will do is that if a book fails, if it doesn't sell, they'll just call the audience racist.
Yeah, because
I'm like, yeah, that works. Insult your audience. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look at Sean Gordon Murphy. That dude said, if anyone comes up to me and says they didn't like my story or anything like that, I would say, okay, that's fine. I appreciate you being honest with me. Hey, maybe I'll get you on the next issue. That's what you should be doing.
See, that sounds like a guy who's emotionally secure.
Yeah. Well, it's dude, like, so my current job, I work as a user experience designer. So my entire job is to listen to people complain about the product. And that is a good thing. So negative feedback is valuable information. You want that because the only thing worse than negative feedback is a no sale. Meaning that apathy, like they say, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. Mm-hmm. And I would rather have people say, I didn't like your first book, and here's why. And I can take notes and make a qualitative analysis and try to improve in the next book. If I'm getting 100 people telling me, you lost sales because of X, maybe I shouldn't be doing X. That's a business thing. Not, those people are just haters. They're all bigots. Like, no, I'm trying to run a business here. I'm not making a book for me. I'm making a book for people.
The funniest part is I remember Marvel did this documentary about Dan Slott back in the day, and it was supposed to be this big, like, here's behind the scenes of what it's like to make a Marvel comic, but it turns out to be an absolute assassination campaign against Dan Slott because they imply that he's on Twitter so much that he can't meet his deadline, so they bring in other writers to finish his work.
Oh, God.
That's what they imply.
Why?
And I'm like, this is the same guy that when Elon bought Twitter was like, I am going to get off of Twitter. Sure you will. And then immediately he was right back on Twitle.
Oh, yeah.
Elon was like, I am buying this platform.
And I'm setting new rules about the tweeting area.
Let that sink in.
I'm telling you, if Elon buys Marvel, that would be hilarious.
Oh, imagine Disney.
Just to watch
Disney. No. Elon buys Star Wars.
Yes. That brand is so damaged.
He put the Tesla logo on the Millennium Falcon.
No. What happens is, like, it's such a damaged brand, and he buys it for like $1 billion. And like the announcement is literally the Millennium Falcon, like you said, the Millennium Falcon, but it had like a Twitter sound up. It has like a.
Twitter
R2D2 sounds like a Twitter.
and it's like, see, you can program it so like that the little tick that plays whenever you're typing something is a lightsaber. They'll paint like the T on like an X-wing. The X will be shaped like a T now.
No. What it is you have an X-wing, and instead of the Rebel Alliance logo, it just has the Twitter logo on it. Logo.
What'll happen? Here's the ad. No, here's the ad. I'll tell you what it is. An X-wing is flying through space. It lands on Endor, and Elon Musk gets out of the X-wing, and it's like he gets into like a Twitter truck, like those electric trucks that look like something out of Transformers, and drives up and says, "I am now the new owner of Star Wars. I'm the Emperor now."
Can't be worse than the current owners.
And then he has to go at one point. At one point, he has to go, "I have unlimited power."
And then Elon announces, "Oh, by the way, you're getting a new Star Wars trilogy directed by George Lucas. Bye."
And then he goes, "Oh, by the way, the sequel trilogy that took place in an alternate timeline. We're never going to reference that ever again."
So the sequel trilogy, they're legends. They're legends.
They're myths.
Literally, he releases it doesn't release a single trilogy, but it has a big legends.
No, he calls them stories. He doesn't even give them a cool name. He just calls them stories. Because and then he goes, he puts like the High Republic in there, where they named a starship vessel where the first mate is a rock.
The Rock.
Do you know what the Rock is cooking?
Writing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is what happens.
Thinking, like, seriously, like that like, if you guys ever watch that promo, it feels like a parody. It feels like a parody.
It feels like Snowflake in Space. That's what that feels like.
What this is a microcosm of like a circle jerk of people who pity laugh because they know that if they swim, they're like a pool of piranha. And if one of those piranhas swims in the wrong direction, the entire pool turns on it and eats it, or the entire school.
Well, yeah, and remember, you also have people in the community relations department making fun of Star Wars fans for having an emotional reaction to Luke Skywalker returning in Mandalorian, and I'm like, this is not a good look, Disney.
Nope. No, well, we're battered housewives when it comes to our entertainment.
That's a
he can change. I swear, he said he can change. This is the 5th time he told me he can change.
Yeah.
I have 3 black eyes, but like he can change.
But Nick, haven't you heard the Force is female?
That was out of context.
That was out of context.
Fuck off, modest. Yeah, exactly.
There was the current like showrunner for like Star Wars Acolyte basically called George Lucas a misogynist, and I'm like, how is he a misogynist?
Leslie Headland can fuck off.
And I'm like, wait a second, he's a misogynist.
No, she was the assistant to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, she
was
the one literally booking children to get raped. She was the one who literally assisted Jeffrey Epstein in all of his heinous shit. And what does she get rewarded? With a Star Wars TV show? Fuck off. Sorry.
And I'm like, wait a second. Okay, so if George Lucas is a misogynist, he did a horrible job at being a misogynist, because we get like some of those badass female characters ever with Princess Leia, Mara Jade.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I have to mention that. Bastila Shan.
To be fair, a lot of those are extended universe characters.
But
he
still,
does get credit for Leia. He does get credit for Leia.
Leia, Princess Amidala.
Yeah.
Let's see who else.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, the dude knows how to make actually good characters. It's just his writing
Princess
needs
Leia
work, but still.
was a feminist icon the moment she first came on the screen. Like literally, if you actually watch A New Hope, Princess Leia, she's very headstrong. Like, she immediately comes on, she takes the situation, but she's competent about it. Like,
she meets Luke. As far as she knows, he's just another Imperial Guard. She goes, "Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?"
Yep.
Like, what? That's awesome.
And like, literally under any less of a writer, like, literally it would just be her. She'd be a whiny girl boss. But like, the fact that, like, you know, like, oh, she takes the gun, she shoots the thing into the garbage chute, Flyboy. The fact she comes up with a plan, executes it, and it's a good plan, it shows that, yeah, she's a capable leader. And she's a strong leader. She's someone you should listen to. And Carrie Fisher plays her with such authority throughout the film. And this, like, see, this is like, Yeah, it's
scruffy looking.
We go from that. Okay, and here's my problem with modern feminist like female archetypes or whatever. They're basically just toxic men with in female bodies. But like the thing that bothered me was like Princess Leia was a badass in her own right. If you actually watch the 1977 version of the film, she rescues herself essentially. Like she gets those guys out of there. And it was like, okay, what's going on? Is she going to be a girl boss? Whatever. No, she can back up everything that she's like, yeah, she's bitchy. Yeah, she's this. But she's earned it. Like, she can do this. And then you look at Carrie Poppins in the Disney sequel things, and it's literally shut up and do what I say.
Even Padme Amidala literally had did the same thing in the 2000s where she was a girl boss. She was taking charge and taking authority.
Well, she sat there and took it all too. She pretended to be Amidala's
handmaiden.
Her handmaiden. And they're like, there's actually a scene where somebody says like, well, you're just the handmaid. The princess, the queen would agree with me, and she bit her tongue because she's like, I can't blow my cover.
The most she said is, well, I don't approve.
Yeah.
And then Anakin is being a little perv over there going, are you an angel?
Oh God.
that age gap, dude, doesn't work.
Well, that and like Lucas cannot write romance because the only women that ever talk to him are the ones that he's had to enter his credit card in first, and it shows. Like, don't write what you don't know.
Well, to be fair, the last good woman he had in his life, he divorced in 1983,
and she's the reason why those movies were great. Dude.
We can blame her.
Even to this day, she talks like, I'm sorry, Marsha Lucas is like. She is such the epitome of class. Even today, even to this very day, she's defending George Lucas. Like she is like there's kind of like there's the narrative like Marsha Lucas was like the whole point of Star Wars. She's fought against that. Like he has actually said, "Oh, this is George Lucas's vision. I just helped him do it." Like that's how much class Marsha. Like I don't know. Like that's how much class that
good woman.
God bless Marsha Lucas.
Every time I think of George Lucas writing a romance, I think of that scene in episode 2 when Padme goes, "Don't stare at me like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable." And then there's Anakin with that pervy smile going, I'm sorry, milady. And I'm like, what the hell?
It gets even worse where it's like
the sand.
No. It gets even worse when they're in like you got like the fire going. It's all romantic.
Yes,
she is literally wearing a fuck me dress. And like Anakin, please don't fall in love with me, please. Like it's just like.
And then Anakin goes, "You're asking me to be rational. That's something I can't do right now."
Like literally, Anakin's got his lightsaber is at full mass right now.
So, interesting little Nick's fact, actually. Phantom Menace was the first movie I ever went to watch in theaters. My aunt took me and my older brother.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I loved it so much.
Negotiations is what you're telling me right there?
Basically, yeah.
Anakin and Padme, they certainly love their aggressive negotiations.
But I loved Queen Amidala so much, even at a young age, that I dressed up as her for Halloween. Aww. I had a little Pez dispenser of her, and I even had a Amidala watch.
But it's like, also, speaking of how badass Amidala was, when they're chained up in the Genoshan arena, she's the first to escape.
Yep.
She's the first to undo all over things, and I love Obi-Wan. She seems to be on top of things.
Yeah, climbs the
building. Phantom Menace alone, though, she does quite a bit, too. Like, as the handmaiden, sure, but she's leading an attack. She's out there with her men, taking charge. Yep. She's out there, the fucking... I think it was Tatooine, but I'm not sure. The planet Anakin came from.
Yep, Tatooine.
But she's out there, like... Qui-Gon's like, no, go back to the ship. I can handle this on my own. And she's like, no, fuck you, I'm coming with, basically. She took charge, and she was only supposed to be, like, what, 14?
All it is, what it really is that it's just jealousy. Leslie Headland is jealous that she couldn't write these iconic characters, and all the characters that they have written have been largely rejected or wasted, i.e. Finn almost becoming a Jedi.
Hey, all I gotta say is I have not seen Leslie Headland and Greg the Hammer Valentine in the same space. Just saying.
All right. So as great as the conversation is, we got Forrester back. So hey buddy.
Someone's got to get this train back on the tracks.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes. Welcome.
Hey.
So Forrester, how has comics broke you?
You know, I don't know that I really have any
I love the
stories.
crickets in the background. I love it.
Yeah, I don't really have a story to tell. It hasn't broken me yet. So
well, then
I think things like this hashtag create a certain social pressure for people to like pull out a story even when they don't have one.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I did mine where it's like I had a positive one where it's like comics didn't break, and some guy still was like, "Hey man, why are you being all positive and stuff? Don't you know it's fucking crazy that like, oh, why are you being positive, man?"
Well, they're trying to guilt people into buying their shit. And it's
Yeah, because we've got like this culture-wide LARP going on where like people who have had really good, comfortable lives want to pretend like they've really gotten a bad deal. And
it's like you see this as like you see this like attractive blonde being like, oh, black people are so oppressed, and she's literally a trust fund baby.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. A lot of this is they're trying to avoid responsibility for their own mistakes and their own lives. And I'm like, I was raised that if you screw up, you take responsibility for your screw up. So you don't blame it on other people.
You see, Jared, that's because you're a real man.
I appreciate that. My beard agrees with you.
Yeah, I was pretty much raised to believe that complaining about the situation is worse than the situation itself was.
Yeah,
like the situation, you can't choose what happened to you, but you can choose how you react, and it's like,
I had a boss once that told me, he's like, "Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions."
Yeah,
because if you're not willing to like fix something, then you're just bitching, and nobody likes a bitch.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll fuck a bitch, but they won't deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, Nick. This game is getting demonetized real fast.
I will say this though. So my personal feelings are complaining can be cathartic, and that's fine. But there kind of comes a point where you can either keep complaining about something or get off your ass and do something about it. And it's like if you keep complaining, it's like what's the point of complaining past a certain point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like okay. Complaining, you complained, you got the stress out, you got your frustration out. Cool. Now let's actually fix it.
And starting needless wars too. Like I mean, I've had some bad experiences with comics people, but it's like
God.
I'm out of every creator relationship that was sour. So like to tell a sob story now would literally just cause an internet war, and then the other guy's got to go on streams, and then I have to go do more streams to defend against his stream. And I guess if you're going for super chats and or dropping a new book during the peak of the drama, it can be very profitable. But
well, here's the thing. Like hate campaigning is literally like it's like a wild forest fire. Sure, it's bright, it gets people's attention. And yeah, you can make a lot of money, but it is also destructive and short-lasting. Like I remember being in comic books on Facebook, and they literally said, "Piss people off." Like you need to piss people off. You need to get people angry, and like yeah, it is profitable. It is very But after a while, people get tired of being angry. Anger is not a long-term emotion. Anger is very destructive. Trust me.
It needs new anger. Like you need to constantly feed that machine.
And eventually, you either run out of things to get angry about, or you escalate it to the point where it collapses in on it itself. The point is, it ultimately, if you don't rein it in, it ultimately leads to destruction. Usually yours.
Well, that and like complaining is what you burden your friends with, and they burden you with theirs. It's not something that you publicly do. I mean, if you're a business and you're trying, imagine that like KFC starts like complaining. They're like, we're not making enough extra tasty Crispies anymore. We're going to have to start closing down things. Guys, you guys are terrible. Step up and start buying our chicken, God damn it.
Yeah, I've had to learn that lesson myself. Like even recently, like I was doing some posts where I was talking about my depression and stuff and how, blah, blah, blah. And a friend of mine, I'm just positive. So shout out to Master TDS. He basically, I'm paraphrasing what he said. He's like, you need to cut that crap out. because that's not good for you. And you know what? I listen to them. You know, so I don't talk. I don't try and talk about them. If I'm going to talk about my depression, it's going to be in the context of overcoming it, not with it like ruling me. You know, and that was a lesson that I had to learn like very recently.
You know, this is going to be really cynical, but I feel like even within friendships and in private setting, there's like almost a certain unofficial credit system for complaining. Like you have a certain amount of complaint points, and if you expire those, you can actually destroy real friendships, marriages, etc. Like,
oh yeah, you bring people down. Like,
yeah, I think you can
therapist.
you can restore them by listening to the other person, but you don't build the points as fast as you expire them. It's like the clock running down in a Yu-Gi-Oh duel. I don't know.
But what I always say,
Forrester runs a stall deck confirmed.
Yeah, a fantastic quote.
Oh,
that Nick,
hey, buddy, how you doing?
and Nick knows what I'm about to say, but there's a very special quote that I always say whenever I'm down or like what this whole thing brought up is that, and Nick, you referenced this in your post about comics, air quotes, breaking you. It was from the Snyder Cut when Cyborg goes, "I'm not broken and I'm not alone."
Yeah,
that's what these people don't realize, and I'm like, see the thing about it. The thing about what these people do when they complain about breaking, that you notice none of them made any suggestions as to how to improve the industry. Because it'd be one thing if they were saying, "Hey, I had a horrible time," and like I think the comic book industry needs this. It was just all complaining straight down.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's kind of like touch upon like what Chris said. It's like people don't like complaining. It's like it brings them down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to mute you there for a second, Forrester. You kind of had like some background noises getting in the way.
So, like, do I speak? I don't know.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, just as far as like straining your friendships go and stuff, nobody likes, like, there was that SNL skit, Debbie Downer. You know, like somebody that will find all of the negative, like to a degree, Daria was kind of like that, and she had no friends. You know, that show back in the 90s where her only like true friend was like her like this artist chick who's like kind of humors her, but like even she had like this moment where she's like, "Look, dude, like everything to you is like a joke. You know, you're 100% cynical. Like that's a nice facade, but like sooner or later you're gonna have some substance, or it's like a hollow M&M. You know, you're not gonna win people over, either friends or business or whatever, if you're just like everything sucks, everything whatever." And yes, there was a shrine nearby.
Oh, sorry, that's my notifications tone. I forgot to turn off my ringer. So.
Oh.
Second time that's happened today.
With Nick, apparently we need that ad that plays in the middle in the beginning of a movie that says, "Please silence your cell phones and pagers."
Fuck off, God.
Sorry, as soon as
true.
Fuck off, God.
Sorry, as soon as Jared.
All right, Snowflake.
Fuck off, God.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Chill.
Wow.
This kind of dovetails with a stream I was in the other day where we were discussing why is it only like people on the like hard left write memoir comics? And we kind of got into the same topics. It was a discussion of blankets.
Blanket?
Narcissism.
Yeah, pretty much. That was kind of the consensus.
Ego, narcissism, lack of talent.
I said they wanted a redress of grievances.
See, the problem with a lot of these. Here's the problem with a lot of these hacks. Okay, the people. Okay, this is my person. Like the whole those who can do. I have an addendum to it. My thing is those who can, those who do. Those who can't teach. Those who can't teach, critique. All right, and you see this a lot in modern discourse. Literally everywhere, you have people who who can't make a movie worth their lives, yet yet somehow they're online criticizing all nostalgic properties. They remember it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, Linkara's comic.
I mean, I was literally referencing Nostalgia Critic, but you were in the right wheelhouse. And
it works regardless.
Yeah, it's like you see this in like online reviewers, like people who they can criticize really good, but when they go and make something, it is just complete and utter shit. Like Nostalgia Critic, like he was fine back in his heyday, like he produced some good content. Nowadays it's crap. But like if you ever try and watch any of his movies, oh my god, they're an exercise in frustration. My god, they're bad.
It's all insider jokes and stuff, and if you don't know, then it's like, this is dumb.
And even and it's like even without the insider jokes, they're just badly made movies.
Well, that's because it's far easier to criticize than it is to create. And I noticed that when I was in the video game industry, where I was in it just as the parasites hijacked the industry, like just when they were starting to get in. And what I found was the people that weren't willing to do the work, the idea, like, I'll tell you, man, the idea guys are the worst people in the world because everybody has an idea, but like, I got the greatest idea for a video game or whatever. Okay, well, what can you do to make it a reality?
What if his pants were blue?
Yeah, no, but it's like, I want to make a Legend of Zelda game, but like they're all super hot babes. Okay, are you an animator? Are you a programmer? Can you script some of this? Can you model the babes? Well, no, I'm going to get other people to do it. Okay, how are you going to pay them? No, I'm going to get a company to make this game. So what kind of fiscal records do you have that can guarantee that this game will make sales and they'll recoup all of their investments? Well, it's my idea. It's great. Okay, so then shut the fuck up. Like that was video game design in a nutshell. It was constantly that. But the point I'm trying to make, though, is that you get these people that are like extremely vocal critics, and all they're trying to do is just wrest creative control from creators.
Yeah, like they just want to be like, hey, you see how Kratos' headband is white instead of red? Yeah, I was the one who did that. Like they want to just like, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but like you see this in movies a lot too, where it's like they try to like wedge themselves and like make these suggestions so that the way they can like put their like have like to be able to say, hey, I worked on that, I did this thing, when it's like the most minuscule thing, or
I made this.
Yeah, or like they'll just like make the suggestion, like for example, I remember this is a story that Ron Wasserman told me. So Ron Wasserman, composer of Power Rangers, he worked with Disney for a while. He did the SPD theme.
Morbid time.
He was actually supposed to do the Mystic Force theme. Oh. In fact, he did a couple demos for him. He did a rock-based one, which the demos are online, and it's actually really good. But he told me, the producer came into work and he heard rap on the way to work. Could you make it rap? And,
feature creep.
Oh, dear. Okay. That's what killed hypertension. But anyway, yeah, I'm in trouble now. Anyway. And so he did it, and I thought it was fine, but he didn't like it, and they went with someone else, So that's why, like, the Power Ranger themes, like, it's Wild Force, I think, Operation Overdrive, were rap-based. It's because one producer came into work and heard rap on the way to work.
And then suddenly changed. Yeah, you get a boardroom making all your creative decisions.
And that's all Hollywood is now.
Yep. Well, the other thing is that bothers me is the self-inserts, because again, that's narcissism. Where like they're like, people are like, oh, why are all the women now freaking gross and ugly and shit? Yeah, look at the creators, dude. You got these like female heroes that look exactly like these non-heroic people.
Let's be honest. Ray is a Kathleen Kennedy insert. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, look at the new Fable trailer.
Khan as Marvel.
Oh, it gets worse. Did you know? Like they looked at the dev team and they actually found...
it's a Transformer. Yeah.
Yeah, the Transformer. Like they actually that person looks a lot like the character. Like that's a problem. You see with it's like you look at the voice actor, these mocap actors, and they're real like Alloy, for example. The Alloy actress is really attractive.
Oh yeah, she is.
And the Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, she looks really great. But the second one, they puffed out her face.
She's got facial hair.
It just doesn't look good. And I'm sorry, but Alloy, given her world, she should be fit. She should be thin because She's constantly running around. She's constantly doing all this shit. She is exercising every second of every day. So yeah, her face should not be that puffy.
Well, do you remember the
Amen to
Powerpuff
that.
Girls? Yeah. Well, do you guys remember the Powerpuff Girls? There was this male writer who was, I think he was part of a certain attracted persons group. And
they really mapped it out, didn't they?
Yeah, totally, dude. And he self-inserted himself as a buff version of what he looks like, and he's a cartoon in the Powerpuff Girls, and he's like Buttercup's love interest or whatever.
Oh, you want even more? Okay,
yeah, Blossom.
I'm gonna do another example, but I'm just gonna say the name of the game, and you guys are going to know exactly what I'm gonna talk about. Last of Us Part 2.
Oh God.
So Neil Cuckman created a character that was basically his own self-insert that then had sex with Jennifer Bailey's character who played Abby. I'm not.
Is this the image that was going around that you see in every thumbnail talking about The Last of Us Part 2?
Now I can't really say for certain if he's the one who did the mocap, so I'm not gonna say for certain.
Oh jeez, I know what image you're talking about.
So I don't know for sure if he did the mocap or not, so I'm not gonna say that for certainty. But just the fact that his own self-insert had sex with Laura Bailey's character.
Someone called Travis Willingham. Someone's making moves on your wife, bro.
Yeah, that's not gross and creepy.
I mean, to be fair, I just want to have dinner with Laura Bailey and just have a good time because she's funny as shit, and I would love to have dinner with her.
She's so cool.
That's just me. I just want to have dinner with Laura Bailey. That's all I ask.
Or these people that want to adapt the actual source material to their own fan stories, to their own fan fictions, or their ships, like the writer who made Tim bi because she wants him to be with Connor Kent Superboy. She's someone who shall not be named, but Nick knows who I'm talking about.
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
No. Her first name is Megan. Let me put it that way.
Oh, Megan Fitzmartin. Okay.
Yeah. He could say it. I'm not going to say her name.
I said it for the record. I said it, not Jared. So if you're gonna flay someone, flay me, not him. See, that's what a leader does. They take responsibility for the people in their crew. So I am taking the burden of responsibility, Jared, not you.
Yeah, because I didn't do anything. I was very clear on who. I actually told you who it's not.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say though too, as someone who is bisexual, I really don't like that change. I think it's stupid. I think it's ill-fitting, and I think
oh, sorry.
I don't know. It's kind of disrespectful to use a sexuality as a shield like that.
Well, it's a novelty. It's not even
and the thing that pisses me off, it's not just the fact that they made him gay. Look at how they've been drawing him. They've been drawing him like a femboy and shit. It's pissing me off.
And I'm going to give you a secret on the way the comic book industry works. When they say, the reason why they make them bi and not full gay is because they want to have an out if the fan base overall rejects it. So they make them bi.
Exactly.
So what they could do is that if Tim dates Bernard and the fan base grows to hate it, they can just say, "Oh, he's back with Stephanie now. He's bisexual."
Well, exactly, and it's a shield for them. It's like, oh no, you can't be too much. We didn't really make him gay. He's just, he'll still date women, but we're not going to see that until, like you said.
I gotta say, among the whole gay spectrum, bi people really do seem to have it the worst because
we do.
All right.
Well, there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, you're not really bi. You're just closeted gay."
Nix, go ahead, shoot.
Okay, so this is something I have actually experienced quite a lot of, and it's not just random nobody assholes who come onto my Twitter and insult me, but actual people who followed me and who I followed them back, mostly because they were followed by people that I really like and follow myself. This one guy got into a huge fight with me because I said the idea of bi-lighting was absolutely absurd, and I was nice about it. I was probably the nicest person to quote tweet this guy, and the person who was following me, my mutual, blew up at me, said I wasn't a real bi person because I don't even know my own flag, and that they didn't appreciate me attacking their friend. I never attacked anyone.
So
Wait,
did you
a
go?
flag?
So I take it that you went from bi-curious to bi-furious?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So there is a special flag now?
Oh, there's a flag for everything.
Yeah.
What happened to just like what? Sorry.
Like,
The flag of,
I
the
know
flag,
my
the
flag.
The flag of white people is literally just a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise.
No, like why can't they just have like a sexual orientation without like being part of some special little club?
Because
Can't
then
you
you
just
wouldn't
be
be
like-
special. Then you wouldn't be
Yeah,
special.
like I have brown hair. Oh no! Like let's make a special flag for that.
Like
I
for
like
example,
vanilla ice cream.
I've mentioned this a few times, but I'm bi-curious. I mean, I like the girls pretty much almost 90%, but I don't talk about it that much. But it is what it is, and but whatever, you know.
We need that Butters clip. I'm
We're-
just a little back curious.
that is pretty much me. Like that is pretty much me. Like you don't see me waving the bi-curious flag. I'm sure there
Yeah,
is one.
is there a flag for like somebody that's bi curious too? Like this is ridiculous, guys. Like I thought there-
The bisexuals get the worst, though. We've got the ugliest flag. Well, one of the ugliest.
Is it like purple?
We
and
don't get
black?
any of the good merch.
Yeah.
It's purple, blue, and pink.
Ooh.
Ew.
Like, the worst shades of them.
This is like
See,
the
the thing-
popsicle
But,
you
like,
leave
they
in the
work
freezer.
well as complementary colors. And people are bringing up that, oh, they saw those three colors as, like, lighting for a movie. Oh, it's a secret signal.
Are you talking
yeah,
about
the
Gwen?
Yeah. By the way, you owe me a Coke here.
Yeah.
Yes, by the way, did you see someone did this hilarious thing where to say by your logic, they took Miles and put him next to a certain emblem that you can't say on here or show because you'll get demonetized.
1940s era Germany.
Yeah, they put him
Yep.
next
Yeah.
to that and said, by your logic, he aligns here. And I'm like, hey, here's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm fine if you take like, oh, okay, I see it this way. I interpret
Wait,
it this way.
Jared,
But
Jared.
wait, let me finish. But when the person actually says this character is this because of this, if the person that just said, I see similarities to this and I interpret her as this, instead of saying finality, she is this way.
Also, who the duck says Super Sons?
Yeah. And Tavia, no spoilers. I'm seeing it tomorrow and Sunday, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tevya, please, no spoilers. And that, you can share like generalized statements about what you thought of the movie, but no spoilers. I'm just doing that out of courtesy to my friends. So, but yeah,
I think-
one of the things that kind of really disturbs me, and I don't really see many people talk about it, is like the Progress Pride flag. If you look at it from a symbolic point of view, it's really taking over LGBT issues. 'Cause, like, you got like that triangle.
yeah.
It's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger the more stripes they add to it, and the symbology of it just like taking because the rainbow flag was supposed to represent everybody. That's the whole point of it being a rainbow. But like the Progress Pride flag just like inching in, it's scary.
Yeah. Sorry. I keep walking over you, Nix. I don't mean to.
Oh, no, it's all right. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add that, like, so I have a lot of friends that are, when you work in the creative industry, you got to know a lot of gay people, okay? And a lot of the L, the G, and the B are starting to, like, not want anything to do with the rainbows.
Also, Jared, thank you for coming on. You're awesome. He's got to go eat. So talk to you later, buddy.
I'll see you
Have a
guys
good one.
around.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
Man, I really like that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
You're not wrong, Chris.
I want to do kind of like a play on like I hate the guy. It's like no, I like.
Man, I really like that guy.
I do. Anyway, Nix, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're absolutely right, though, Chris. A lot of us really don't want to associate with the quote unquote community, air quotes, big air quotes on that. Because, like, especially the B's in the LGBT, because we have been there basically since the beginning, and we keep getting treated like crap from all the other letters and whatever else you want to pile under that blanket.
You're a daywalker. You're not even a true member of the community because, let's
exactly.
see, how's the one where it's like, oh, you're bisexual? Is this just like you're for college? Or oh, you're bisexual. You're really just gay and you just don't know.
Or like you have a bisexual woman who marries like let's say you have a bisexual woman and she marries a man. Like, oh, you're not actually gay. You're married to a man.
Yeah,
you're straight passing.
Yep, yeah, straight passing.
Oh dear God, I hate that word passing. I fucking.
I know.
I get called white passing all the time. In fact, to me, it was a real eye opener when I get the whole like you're just a white supreme and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden they see family photos and they'd be like, "Were you like adopted?" Because there's like Asian people there. What's going on? I'm like, no, I'm mixed. What? And they're like, suddenly you get that weird like you start getting treated like you're retarded. Oh, that's so. And I'm like, why did I get this sudden weird change? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'd say Asian people really have it hard in the States because they really get the worst from both communities. Because like the LGBT, like the left leaning people, it's like, oh, Asians, they're basically white supremacists. They're Schrodinger's minority. And like the racist portion, like, oh, Asians, oh, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, normal people, honestly, they even get it bad for like normal people because like a lot of normal people they fetishize Asian people to like kind of an uncomfortable degree. And I say this as a big Japanophile.
Well, Asian women in particular. I had a coworker once during a Halloween party show up in her normal clothes. I'm like, oh, you didn't have a costume. She goes, no, I'm the I'm the Asian girlfriend. Because like in fact, like everybody was white and every dude was white and they had Asian wives or girlfriends.
I mean, yes, Asian women are attractive. I think that is a fair thing to say. But yeah, they do get over fetishized to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, us Asian dudes though, we're in the bottom of the spectrum according to what is it? OK Cupid.
I will say this though, like Asian. I will say this, like I'm gonna cross. I'm gonna bat for the team for a second. Asian dudes that are like really fit are actually kind of hot.
Woo!
That is the gayest thing I've ever said in screen. So
wait, I'm fat and out of shape, and I'm almost pushing 50. So I think I'm out of that one.
I will let you fix my computer. How about that?
Oh, I'm very good at mathematics and computers and stuff. It's like homework for me is like vacation. Okay, so long, gay boys.
Oh dear God, you are too good at that, Chris. That's scary.
That's so good, Guaylo.
Oh dear God, now we get demonetized.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The Asian man gets canceled for Asian stereotype.
I could see it happening.
It's like, what? This is my normal voice. What's wrong with you, Guaylo?
Oh, jeez.
Stranger things have happened.
Anything you want to add to all this discussion?
Nope.
You're just like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
No, I'm just enjoying the show. That sounded wrong. That's not what I meant. No, I mean, you guys are saying a lot of good, you're making good points and all. It's been a just good stream to listen to.
Oh.
Yeah, I just, you're kind of been silent there, wanted to include you and whatnot,
Well, the point what I was about to say earlier when we were talking about self-inserts, it went off on a different tangent. I was about to say there's also the opposite plague in comics right now where people will maliciously pretend something's a self-insert when it's not, as a deflection. Like they'll say, oh, well, Peter Parker looked like Steve Ditko. He was a self-insert. No, he fucking wasn't. You're just pretending he was to try and prove a point.
They're trying to justify their bad actions.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like it's like it's kind of like what we were seeing like with the Flash, where it's like all these like CG cameos that are obviously coming out, and the director says, "Oh, we made them bad on purpose," or like, "Oh, these are just being done on cell phone videos, so like, oh, those would be better on screen." Like, I'm sorry, bitch, have you actually seen those pictures they look so bad.
Well, I was talking about like if someone says "I am not Starfire" is a self-insert, some
I have seen
jackass on the internet
PS1
will say,
games.
"Well,
I've
Peter
seen-
Parker was a self-insert," and there's a picture that goes around Twitter of a young Steve Ditko in glasses, and he does kind of resemble Peter Parker in like the first drawing of Peter Parker, and they're being disingenuous because they didn't even stick with that Parker design for more than maybe 2 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost his glasses pretty early on. Like I mean, let's be honest, Spider-Man really didn't come into his own, I'd say, until the John Romita run. I think that's when Spider-Man really came into his own as a character.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the Ditko run is important as a foundation, but the house was built. Well, John Romita built the house from Steve Ditko's foundation. That's how I like to think.
Yeah.
Well, there's kind of an in-between phase there. It slides from one to the other because when Parker finished high school, Ditko was kind of sick of the nerdy guy. You know, he liked his Randian ideals and all. He didn't really want to be doing a nerd that much. And
He just wanted to get back to doing Mr. A.
Yeah, he started drawing him more, you know, acting more adult, and I think he might have had a leather jacket by then. But Ditko's drawing skill wasn't on the level of Romita. Romita came in and took what Ditko was already doing and made him handsome.
Also,
Yeah.
rest in peace, John Romita.
Yep.
John Romita does not get the recognition he deserves.
No, he doesn't.
As a oh my god, because like John Romita, it was so key to the Silver Age of Marvel. Like, dear God, like obviously Daredevil. I mean, Steve Ditko gets the recognition he deserves for Spider-Man. I think that's fair. You know, but Romita just does not get the like. I think his son gets more recognition than he does. You know, John Romita Jr. I mean, John Romita Jr. I'm not saying John Romita Jr. doesn't deserve his recognition, but he gets. But I think probably because John Romita Jr. is more recent, and John Romita is actually still somewhat active in the industry, whereas like Senior hasn't really been active in the industry for like 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's definitely one of the there was a Mount Rushmore of comic creators, he would definitely be one of those faces on it.
Okay, actually, that's a good topic. Let's do a 4-person Mount Rushmore of comic book creators, and we're each going to say what our personal ones is. Nix, go first.
This is probably going to be very stereotypical, but I really do think Stan Lee deserves to be up there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, all the work he's done that I've come to love immensely. And, like, everyone else, obviously, too, but, like, definitely one of the biggest faces that would be up there.
All right, who else?
I would probably need some time to think about it. We're only doing American here.
Actually, I'm gonna extend it to 5 because so I'm gonna you can do. We're primarily focusing on American, but if you want to include foreign for yours, that's fine. So for mine, I'm gonna do 1 from each decade, 60s to the 2000s. So for the 60s, I'm gonna say Stan Lee because obviously. For the 70s, I'm gonna say Denny O'Neil. It's really Denny O'Neil or Neil Adams, but Denny O'Neil was really important for relaunching Batman in the 70s. Because remember, the modern Batman that we know is because of Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. Mm-hmm. For the 80s, I'm going to say Frank Miller. Because Frank Miller really defined that era of comics. You know, like the gritty, dark action kind of comics. Frank Miller was really the one who I feel like really defined the 80s. 90s, I'm going to say Todd McFarlane.
Oh, yeah.
Because Todd McFarlane brought comics into the 90s. Not just with his Spider-Man work, but with Spawn. And also, like, he honestly, Todd McFarlane has done more for comics than most other, like he's right up, like, honestly, if you're going to say, like, the top 5 comic creators, Todd McFarlane would be number 2. In terms of the most important and impact on the industry, Stan Lee would be number 1, Todd McFarlane would be number 2. So that's what I have for the 90s. And for the 2000s, that's a little bit more difficult, and I'm going to get maybe some controversy for this, but I would say Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, I can see that.
While Brian Michael Bendis is kind of a hack now, he was really what?
He wasn't when he was in the sorry, I didn't mean to
Ultimate
interrupt.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
his work on Spider-Man proper, like all the stuff he did in the early 2000s. He like Bendis, his stuff with Daredevil,
Yep.
Bendis brought comics into the 2000s. That's what I would say. So that's kind of like my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I'm at a loss, honestly. Like Ramita, I said would be on there. Obviously, we would have Stan the Man on there as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many. The problem is there's so many. Like, honestly,
yeah, like I'm like, do I put Kirby in there? Because Jack Kirby,
yeah, you need to put Kirby
Definitely
in there.
Kirby.
Yeah, because Kirby really helped define both the Golden Age and the Silver Age.
Yep,
and honestly, a little bit into like, is the 70s considered the Bronze Age?
Yes.
Yeah, so Kirby was actually, like, people don't really talk about this. Kirby was still active in the 70s. Like, because Kirby created the New Gods in the 70s.
That's actually my favorite period of his work is the 70s.
Yeah, he kind of started to peter off in the 80s, but he was still active in the 70s. But, like...
New Gods and Eternals was hands down his best design work. I like New Gods better for the stories and characters, but Eternals is the best design work of his career, bar none.
Yeah, and remember, he co-created Captain America with Joe Simon back in 1941. So, like, that alone would give him a place in history. But the sheer amount of stuff he did with Stan Lee, I can't remember that. Like, he co-created a few of the key Marvel characters. Can't remember all of them. But then he did some really important work in the 70s. So Kirby.
Hey, I gotta take off. It was good talking to y'all, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, likewise, man. It's nice meeting you.
Yep, nice meeting you too. Bye.
Yeah, so like I would say Kirby and Todd McFarlane probably really fight for the number 2 spot. It's really hard for me to say.
I also like taking Marvel out for a second and looking at Siegel and Schuster or
Julius Schwartz.
Yeah, or Bob Kane.
Yeah. Though Bob Kane, okay, if we're gonna talk about the Bob Kane stuff, we've got to mention Bill Finger.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Because Bob Kane, honestly, yes,
took
he
credit.
Yeah, and plus all this, I don't know if you've heard all the stories about him, and Stan Lee couldn't stand Bob Kane, yeah, I don't know. He created Batman, but beyond just creating Batman, his impact on the industry wasn't that big,
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like, I got the idea, and then meanwhile somebody actually made that idea into fruition, which was Bill Finger.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's a
and
tough
then even
one, man.
then,
all the bad stuff you can say about Stan Lee. Stan Lee is not perfect, mind you.
No, God, no.
But you can't deny the impact he had on the industry.
Nope.
Stan Lee, he was a glory hound. He was very much kind of a marketing person. And he did screw over some key people. But the impact he had on the industry, even up until his death, cannot be understated.
Well, he was the voice before I was literate, when I was 3, and I'd have Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, or all that. He was the voice of.
He was the ambassador. He was the ambassador of comics for over 50 years.
Yep.
Even in the 90s, he was still actively the face of Marvel even into the 90s.
Yep.
Because I remember as a kid, I knew who Stan Lee was, because you'd see Stan Lee introducing, I had this CD. I remember as a kid I had a CD of digital comics. It was a Phoenix Saga. It was actually a really cool CD because it had sound effects, it had narration by
nice.
the X-Men anime series voice cast.
Oh, nice.
And it'd have you'd read the comics, and it was actually really cool. And it had little video snippets from Stan Lee. And it's hi heroes,
yeah, Excelsior.
Yeah, so even as a 6-year-old kid who I like comics, but I knew who Stan Lee was.
Yep. Yeah.
I think the best thing I can say.
Oh, sorry. I keep doing that. Sorry, Nix.
Sorry. I was going to say, I think the best thing I could possibly say about Stan Lee is that he really, in anything he did where he was, narrating for Marvel or, even just his cameos, for the movies, he really made you feel like you were about to go on the greatest adventure of your life.
Yeah.
Well, he was like introduced. He was like your tour guide. He's like, "Come on, man, come on over here. Let's check out this cool stuff." And I was like,
And
"Oh,
it's
okay."
like when you're watching Stanley introduce something, he had like an unbridled passion. He had
Yeah.
an enthusiasm.
Exactly.
Like you felt like he like, hey, I really like this. I want you guys to see it. It's like he was so passionate. It was kind of one of those like just sheer enthusiasm where you just couldn't help but get swept up in the storm.
Yeah, it was infectious.
Yeah, and I think Todd McFarlane really kind of has some of that energy to a degree. Like I think Todd McFarlane is, really important to the industry. I mean, obviously Todd McFarlane had an impact artistically, but Todd's really true effort was more on what he did behind the scenes. Like obviously his work with Founding Image and a lot of the stuff he did, like fighting for artist rights. So while certainly his artistic stuff is worthy of the history books, it's really like the other things that are really what defines him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and another one I'd probably argue would be like Jim Lee, but yeah,
To a lesser degree, but yes.
Yeah, like to me that was the '90s, like because I mean the Spawn and all the like the Image comic stuff, like that was the cool kids comics, if there was such a thing. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah,
oh, you guys have your little Supermans and your X-Men or whatever, but guess what? We got the indie like underground stuff that's real badass. It does stuff that's a lot like, look at what Spawn did, and it was like, oh shit, like this is like the grittier, darker, like almost like Alan Moore on steroids.
Well, honestly, I'd say the most comic hipster thing in history was being a comic fan in the 80s and reading stuff like Usagi Jimbo or Seri or whatever. Like like underground comics really started to get kicked off in the 80s. Like they were there in the 70s, but they really started to get going in the 80s. Like obviously TMNT had a big help with that.
Oh god, yeah. The craze, dude. Like all the spin-off stuff that we saw after Ninja Turtles, like Eastman and Laird, I would probably put them up there to a degree too, because like the Ninja Turtles in the late 80s spawned like Battletoads, they spawned, was it Biker Mice from Mars?
All right, I got to do this lineage, and I'm probably gonna flex this. TMNT, Battletoads, Cyberfrog.
Yeah,
See, and I'm not hating on Cyberfrog. I'm just pointing out that Cyberfrog is basically the next step in the lineage of that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to hear EVS talk about.
Now I want to see a Cyberfrog Biker Mice from Mars crossover.
I want to see the Vizpix or whatever just kill the Biker Mice. You guys aren't wearing red. What?
or like the dinosaurs, or like just like
dinosaurs.
I used to love that as show as a kid.
God, yeah, there were so many. They even made like, remember Three Ninjas, that like those three kids or whatever. Like,
oh, I gotta bring this up. This is more for like the retro video game fans. You're not a real fan unless you know about the Cheetah Men.
Oh God, the Cheetah Men! Isn't that like one of those like NES like?
Yeah, Action 52.
Yeah. Oh
like,
God!
It was an attempt to be part of like the Ninja Turtle lineage, but yeah.
Everyone always forgets about Street Sharks.
Yeah.
Oh, Street Sharks!
Jawsome.
or like how Vin Diesel did like a promo video for them back in like the mid 90s. Oh, you want to talk about like young actors? Like, did you know that Jack Black actually did a commercial for Pitfall back in like 82?
Yeah, the little hat. He had the pith helmet on and everything.
Or like my favorite thing is like watching a Super Nintendo commercial and you got Paul Rudd playing Super Nintendo.
And he looks exactly like he does now.
That's the best part.
That monster, he doesn't age.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, I actually have to get going.
I think this is probably the best. Probably just cap it right here. We're
cool.
A little over 2 hours.
Well, appreciate the invite, man. This was a blast.
Yeah, and I'd love to have you on again sometime. You're more welcome to. So we'll see what happens next Thursday, but you're added to the list.
Awesome.
Chris, thank you for stopping by. It is appreciated. Nix, you as well. You both are always welcome here. And this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. Remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.